Welcome back to part 3 of What If Upchuck was in My Hero Academia. Now, so, yeah. In this What If, or where we left off, Upchuck is about to ready to kill All for One. Like, tears his limbs to pieces. So, because the villains, or like All for One's and goons killed his parents, and they tried to take Esdeath away because she was the only person that they want to have her ice powers. But then, of course, so All for One decided to teleport Upchuck and the League of Villains to where he's at. And when he regained consciousness, he says, all right, you're just as stubborn as before I want to, can you put on, I know that your quirk is the teleport of healing, so as to make things even out, sure. As All for One gets teleported, so not behind him, but ends up in front. Yeah. So now he's Prime All for One, as he says, ready to begin. As Zuko, as All Might came in, and yeah, All Might was beaten down, but before his death, or no, the All for One says, now time for you to die, All Might, as he just uses a beam. As Zuko, or no, as Upchuck says, or he removed his mask before. So the void like when he opened his mouth, he absorbed All for One's attack and threw it right back at him. Like he says, I don't need a predator to. As All for One, or as Upchuck tells him that he should have just actually All for One tells Upchuck that you're annoying me. Well, you know what? No matter. I will tear you to limb from limb before I start becoming. As he literally did. He ripped, or he reached in and, like, full punch, grabs All for One's quirk and yanked it out of All for One's body, as in order to destroy it before it returns, as he used his attack, or or actually that Blair thing, as Zuko or as upchuck teleports them away, eh? As or he teleports everyone away. As when Zuko or he tells himself or tells All for One that what happens when someone eats a dwarf star, they get a tummy ache. Yeah, that's what he did. As he basically burps. No, that one scene where he defeated the king of the, I think, Forever Knights or Forever Night King. Yeah, like that, but on a whole nother level. He tilts his head up, does that move. He spins himself around. Yeah. As they thought he was dead. But All for One, or no, not All for One. As knows that he's not dead. He survived. As he picks up, or he had, because as long as she knew him, as long as she knew him, he could survive anything. If he had cracked ribs, he could instantly heal. Yeah. So he picks himself up as a brick and landed on his head. As he got knocked out. But instead of as he looks up, raining bricks, as he's just giving him or something to laugh at. He had a lot of money rolling in. He gets $1.6 trillion for each day. So he decides, how about being nice and open a theme park that doesn't, we're little kids. As he ate too much again, as he's stand over there, please. As his face turns green, much greener than his Ben 10 counterpart. Yeah. As when he vomits, there wasn't just one or two or three or four. There was about 5 children's came out of his mouth. Don't ask me why. Don't ask. Don't ask, don't tell. As he wipes the goo off, as he lays on his side, as walks over, found 5 kids, or 5 toddlers, and him. 5 of them had green goo on them. As she wasn't like happy about that, but then of course, his father told her that he had an ability to produce by every time he eats something. His limit is 106. So then of course, when her father tells her that he's not married, he's not none of that. He's okay. As she doesn't really care, but she did like as she picks him as she like says, "Why didn't you just tell me straight on that you had this power?" As as her father talks for upchuck, as he says that he couldn't, and because he knew that you were, if you found out, you would probably gone for like every other girl until you found the girl that did that to him. Or you would have just left him 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 as she turns, or she didn't realize that he didn't want to make her like want to kill every girl. As after all, as then he spoke out to her that his heart is always yours as death. It was my power that. Okay, so as she was like not very upset, but then she ended up getting kissed as she finds that attractive. Yeah. So then, yeah. So he teleports the kids back to his mansion where he had. I don't remember the other ones. So, where's Ken? And then one more, or 2 boys, 2 girls, 5, probably 10. There's about 10 kids at his house or at his mansion. So yeah. So then, so Ezra tells her, or no, Ezra tells him, or they actually were dating for a long time, or they went on a date, and they got, after they became pro heroes, as he labeled on the dates, As he says, don't worry, as the piece of paper had, like, so what are their names? I know that the other five, the first one you named Life. He. And then the second one was, or second girl was Illusion, or Alexis the Illusioner. The, yeah, and Setsichan. As, yeah. So, she decides to, she wants her own kid. She, instead of having to rely on his, like, eating, like, 10, or no, 106 things. Yeah. Nope, sorry. So, yeah, they got married, and then they did the deed. And, yeah, she had her own daughter on her. For, yeah, that. So, and it was a pretty big mansion. So, to hold up to 900 people, or no, over 1.9 bazillion, because first all the way down. So, yeah. So then so before that, when they were just dodgeball thing, or actually overhaul, or actually I skipped the dodgeball and overhaul thing. So during the talent show thing, they're kind of embarrassed as to, because so they're now the adults. So yeah, her and her, or no, upchuck and her are dating, and they got, and the kids in the, I almost said Arctic Guana, but she, the first daughter that he had when he was unlocked his ability, was at age of 4. So as she calls him, as she couldn't wait for her quirk, or to go see what her quirk is. As she says, or as he says, don't worry, daughter. I'll take you to the court doctor. Okay? As the, let's say her, the big hands girl, or actually, or not big hands girl, that beast guy says, if you want to take your daughter to, because they know about his like kids. So yeah, so the Beast Man tells him, if you want to take your daughter to the quirk doctor, that's perfectly fine. Right? Yeah. So the blood hero says this. Yeah. You're capable of taking your daughter to, as he tells Death that he that her daughter either wants to get her court checked because she's that age. As she understands, as she nods her head, as he's kind of embarrassed about how do you feel about it, Mel? As let's say they went to a quirk doctor that isn't like works with villains, but the quirk doctor says, you're here for your sister or your daughter's to get her quirk checked, right? Yes. Huh. It's been a long time since I've seen ya. Well, with my powers, and she is only 1 out of 10 kids that are now this age. Yeah. As he's surprised, and as I'll tell you what that girl's power is, the one that looks like Ares. She has a ice quirk, like her mother or your girlfriend, and she also has your upchuck abilities. Your abilities too. As yeah, your so yeah, as her or his 4-year-old daughter that's is happy that her own, as she probably expect more of that age. Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah. So when he told his girlfriend and about their daughter is, or no, she or he actually tells her, or as his father, that I know that I'll probably be more busy with being a pro hero, so it would probably be you. And yeah, they became just so proud of their daughter, of finding a right man that had, yeah. So then time progressed. Now they, or Class A versus Class B, as Eraserhead tells Upchuck that, don't worry, if you get the phone call from your daughters or your sons, or okay, As after like 3 rounds, let's say class A, like the very last round was Zuko and Ezeth versus, and it's team of 2. So versus 2. So it's 2 versus 2 battle. So as Ezeth tells or that or him that, of course, during the 3 rounds he had a phone call as the kids were, plus they all have the immunity, like the basically they're immortal. As yeah. So it was time for them to, or so the rest of them were at age of 4. So their group, as he knows that him versus his girlfriend as in the final round, as he's more embarrassed. As yeah, actually, one of the pro heroes, or actually, let's say Nezu invited the kids to spend the week again, or the week, or the day with their mother and their father. As yeah, and so as Ochako couldn't believe that the upchuck and Ez's kids are so dang cute. As he says, huh. As Momo even thinks that, plus when she heard that the upchuck's ability is to reproduce by hitting the 106 amount thing. Yeah. And yeah. So he doesn't want to leave him at the mansion so he's as Death is like their mother. So yeah, they prefer her to be their mother or their mom. As yeah. So then the life, yeah, as this tells Upchuck that you picked a really good name for our daughter of life. Yeah, he really didn't want to not name him, and because Okay. Let's see. As he created or Momo decided to create a bin, like, for them to play in. When the teenagers, like kids, as Mina finds them so adorable, huh? That even she, as they could not believe that her own or their own, like, classmate is, yeah. I I should have just, instead of using as I just now realized I should have just used Frog Girl, the Fribbit. I think that's her name. Because, yeah. But then when, yeah. So, yeah. As the, all that. Now it's, as she's, as he tells, or actually the kids are says, are you two gonna fight each other's, like, argue thing? As he says, no, 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 sweetie, it's just the, it's, how will I put this? As that says, it's just the, we're just playing around. Not really hate each other's. But instead, it's just the, if a villain's, we're training our powers to see what, hey, so they really don't really hate each other's. As Class B and Class A agrees that, yeah, we're all friends. As the copy quirk guy was being the smart thing, as karate chops or neck chops him and knocks him around. Yeah, so all my ain't tells them that the no need to, as, yeah, all of the everyone made sure that they weren't in trouble. As F decided to do a little prank, prank on him. So she decides to use her long range attacks. As he understands what her long range attack, so he could sense her heartbeat. So from a mile away, yeah. As he rolls, as he rolls a goo, as it bounces right at the, as she puts up a barrier, as it was cool. And she says, huh, no matter how long range you or anyone has, you're always the best, aren't you? Huh. Yeah. I could sense a mile away from, as the goo forms as he learned this technique from Zuko. He did like a full flick of goo right at her. And yeah, it hits her, and the goo wrapped around her entire body. As she says, huh, you sure are talented. Huh, yeah. That's why, as All Might, or actually, let's say Hawks was there, as Hawks sees the same attack, like from a mile away. Just like how Lady Nangan uses her snipe, like her quirk to snipe people. He did the same pose. Azuko says this is bad. If he could use that attack again on me, we're both finished. Azuko, as the goo, actually he just walks up, or he actually grabs her and puts her behind their bars things. And yeah, as he as they he actually never did that to her before. The wrap her entire body with that goo and lifted her up like a bump on the log thing. Yeah. So yeah. So he basically, and who was his partner? Of course, was nobody. He actually, if I did, I forgot. Yeah. So he ended up, because it was the final round and everybody was so uneven, and he does that attack again. And he created enough, as he basically grabs the piece of the concrete as he opens his mouth, or like took off his mask, or no, opens up his mouth, or mask's mouth, and eats it. As he, like, it charges up, as he flicks both at the same time, as both goo latched right onto Zuko's both hands, as he grabs Zuko, and Class 1B won that round. Technically, Class A won, but they wanted to see, yeah. And it was a draw. So, yeah. So then after all that, they became pro heroes. And Esdeath got married to to her husband, and yeah, or to and yeah, she is now fully a first mother that actually has 11 kids because she wanted one just for herself instead of relying on his ability. Yeah. So, yeah, the very last one, and it was a boy, or actually, it was a girl, and Ochako and Zuko got married and had their 2 kids, or actually 3 kids. And yeah, so she basically was proud of her kids. So the 4-year-old, I'm doing a little time skip. So a 4-year-old Helm, and then the time skip. Or so now the 15-year-old daughter, or they are all like different age. Like, yeah. As plus he could, something tells him that he could. So yeah, so she basically was a old lady thing. But something tells him that or upchuck was basically able to, so he wanted to like go home. So when he teleported, his body starts to change. Like it was like reverse time into like his teenage self. Like what he was when before. So as he looks at himself, he wasn't an old man. As he's surprised, as he, like, when he got up, his back pains and, like, friends doesn't bother him that much. As he looks up, he could see, yeah, so when he got back to the house, he wanted to tell her, but she wants to, as the quirk has awoken. So yeah, so he basically went, as he's embarrassed to show her, as he basically walks up, as he, yeah, literally, as when he looked at himself in the mirror, he couldn't believe that what he saw. A younger version of himself. Like, he sees no gray hairs. His hairs was all brown, like way brown, more than like Ochako's. Yeah, as he says, okay. I, usually, people, or every time I use my quirk, as he's something tells him that it woke up fully. It developed a new power. So as he walks over, he doesn't want to have him get smacked around. So as he sees her walk, or like in a chair, walking back and forth, I hope that he comes back soon. Okay? Yeah. She basically, of course, when she doesn't even recognize her own husband, as he tells her that I'm back. Uh, who are you? I'm upchuck, remember? As she's trying to think. But then when he told her that or as he straight up tells her that he something wanna, because Rock Upchuck says, well, you're thinking about what I trying to process that as death. But my quirk, remember the teleport of healing? As she's trying to figure that out. But then when she realized that as he says, well, he walks over to, he did, or let's scratch that part out. So he walked away, or he doesn't want to, because he doesn't want to till he's 100% sure. So he goes back to the court doctor to ask him something as he sat down. What has gone, as the court doctor tells him that your quirk has finally been revealed, like fully. You have unlocked the awakened quirk. You want to rename it to what? I like the teleport of healing. What is a, well, it's not it's still the same name. It's the your awakened quirk, or your awakened power of your quirk is now called rewinding, or teleport of rewind, or teleport for short. Or rewind. As he, I know it's hard for you. Probably your wife is probably worried sick about you. How will I, as she, or he understands that he doesn't want to, like, basically freak her out by saying, hey, I know. As he walks away to clear his head, as let's say Ochako was in a, or not Ochako, the Momo was in a neighborhood thing, as she says, huh, long time no see, upchuck. Or you need help? As as Zuko, or as Upchuck looks at her. No, man, I'm. Hey, Momo. Long time no see either. Man, I don't know what's going on with me. One minute I'm the old man, or like with gray hairs and some of the hairs lost. That next thing I remember is it's as he starts, or as the he doesn't even know that his, so he, and I went to the quirk doctor and he told me that I have a wakened quirk, or I have woken up my quirk fully. Like, and the awakened quirk part of my powers things that it fused into my body is called time, or no, teleport of rewind. So every time as he tells her that every time I use it from now on, instead of getting like what you are now, it would be like your school days life. And it's only your body that will be like de-aged. She doesn't even know what, and she understands, and she tells him to teleport her from one area to the other. Yeah, so he did, as a teenage Momo, the one that you see on your screen right now, is, as she says, wait, so you have this power like Ares does, right? Yeah. But I really don't know. I don't want to, like, it's just so embarrassing to. Well, don't worry. As Todoroki tells him that, can you do it to me too? Sure. As he teleports him from where he was standing on the other side of Momo. So yeah. So then, yeah. So now so then Upchuck finally is ready to tell Azeth as he like walks up, as she was just sitting there walking back and forth. As it was finally time, as he taps on her shoulder, as she like she no or she was awake, or she woke up. Who's it goes there? The long time no see. Or as she remembers, were you? I'm upchuck. As she could not believe that her own boyfriend is right in front of her. So, or her own husband. You look so young. And how? Well, as he explains that he went to a quirk doctor, that I have awakened quirk, and yeah. So he basically tells her to, you want me to teleport you to where you were, remember when you were younger? Yeah. As he teleports her to right beside her, or no, right beside him, or him, as when she looked at herself in the mirror, she sees her like herself. She's her memories are like, she doesn't have that old timers anymore, because yeah. So then he ended up, so but now every time they use it, instead of like, yeah, as she still like couldn't believe that her own boyfriend does that too. So yeah. So the kids that are now 15, 16, and 17, and 118. So, yeah. So, adios.